Do you expect a 4 to 5x of Bitcoin, which would be necessary, as you said, for a 7 to 10x for some altcoins? And when do you expect that? Within 12 to 18 months? And do you believe in altcoin season at all? Yeah, I do believe in altcoin season after we have rallied in Bitcoin. So there's this rotation happening, right? So the way this works is that during a bear market, when we enter this bear market, there are already the first people that start buying bottoms along the way, and then the bottom keeps bottoming until we actually bottom out, and then we see a recovery. And even during the recovery, still it's mainly Bitcoin that's getting bought because it's the safest of the thing. People aren't yet sure if we really enter a new bull market or if this is just a dead cat bounce. So we tend to see mainly purchases of Bitcoin during bearish times. Now, the altcoin rotation tends to happen after Bitcoin has clearly come out of the bear market. So after it has made the 3, 4, 5, 6, 7x. So we need to get a 4, 5x return in Bitcoin first before we see the altcoins outperform. Now, the altcoins also appreciate with Bitcoin's appreciation from the bear market bottom, but they don't necessarily outperform. They only outperform after Bitcoin has rallied and after the people that bought in the bear market, that bought the bottom, they might take some profit and they might then rotate into the altcoins. The major effect though, it seems to not necessarily be a rotation from Bitcoin profit into the altcoins. The major effect seems to really be that Bitcoin appreciates quick enough that then mass media talks about it, then the YouTube algorithm talks about crypto more often, the general population gets more exposure towards crypto, and the new people that enter the space, they are then looking for the next Bitcoin. This was very clear in 2017, right, when we had literally Bitcoin Diamond and Litecoin and Bitcoin Cash. We had literal alternatives to Bitcoin. Then subsequently we had the ERC20 rally, right, the ICO boom. We mainly have this rotation into the risk on assets, into the alternatives to Bitcoin, the things that can do the next 10x. We tend to have this after Bitcoin is already rallied and after everybody agrees that we are currently in a bull market. And that tends to be the end stage of the bull market. It doesn't mean that the bull market is over, but that tends to be where Bitcoin's appreciation slows down and where then the appreciation of the altcoins tends to pick up. So that's how I write all of this, right? I do not buy the altcoins in the middle of a bear market. Really, the main purchases that happen in a bear market are purchases of Bitcoin, because all of the altcoin investors, they have already been wrecked. They've already lost everything. I mean, look at this, right? If you're down over the last year by 70, 80, 90%, what additional capital do you have to buy the bottoms here, right? You can only use this. You can maybe have your regular cash flow that you redeploy, but how aggressive will you redeploy after you've already lost that much? The Bitcoin investors, they tend to lose less during the bear market. The Bitcoin investors tend to have more capital in general to move, and so they are more capable of buying the bottoms, and so that's why also Bitcoin tends to be the first asset to bottom out, and why Bitcoin dominance tends to go up during a bear market, and why it still tends to go up during the first stage of the recovery of the bull market. And so that's how I time all of this, right? I do think that altcoins can outperform, but altcoins underperform most of the time. And so that's why I want to be careful, especially in a bear market.